Hey folks, and welcome to the channel. HappyCattyCrypto here. Morning to you all, leading up to the start of this week. So there's been a few things that have transpired this morning. Binance has been tweeting a few things, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to specifically cover this management and recovery of Luna Classic. Then I'm going to get some more videos up for you folks today. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Smash those penguins in the comment section if you're part of the penguin gang. If you're staying tightly huddled, if you're staying warm and really just looking past all of what's happening now and really just looking to the future. So let's go. Abstract. In early May 2022, the Terra ecosystem collapsed after the algorithmic stablecoin failed to maintain its peg. Emergency measures were taken by Terraform Labs in an attempt to protect Luna and UST, but then were abruptly abandoned by TFL for Luna 2.0 several days later. At this time, the Luna Classic blockchain has been left crippled and in limbo for the last 2 months. In the face of impossible odds, the Luna Classic community has self-organized and rallied to build and restore the blockchain. This technical document outlines the steps we, the community, have taken towards the emergency management of the Luna Classic blockchain in the weeks after the UST depeg. We outline precisely what would be implemented on-chain to mitigate the concerns to affected stakeholders and build trust for external partners, exchanges, third-party developers. For the Luna Classic community, validators and developers, this outlines concrete steps on how past governance can and will be achieved. We openly audit on our own code and welcome any feedback for improvement. Let us move forward together as the true community blockchain. So a really strong opener there in my opinion. I'm just going to switch it to dark mode, folks. Sorry, it's really, really bright. I hope it's a little bit less brighter for you. As you can see here, we've got a lovely contents table. Do feel free to take a pause, take a look, and just, I guess, get yourself used to what's actually coming up. So introduction, the Terra framework consisted of Terra Luna and Terra UST. This pair represented an algorithmic stablecoin that pegged UST to 1 USD. Using a swap and mint function between Luna and UST, when UST's value dropped below $1, UST asset holders could burn their UST minting 1 Luna, thus decreasing UST in circulation and increasing its price. When UST's value increased over $1, Luna asset holders could burn 1 Luna and mint 1 UST, giving a small profit and lowering the price of UST back to 1 USD. However, on May 10th, 2022, UST depegged from its $1 mark and started a 40% sell-off within 48 hours. In the span of 4 days, the price of UST crashed to only 13% from its $1 stablecoin value. Luna Foundation Guard deployed over $3 billion in BTC to defend PEG. Further, as designed, the algorithm that links UST and the Luna minted trillions of Luna to avoid the collapse of UST. But the framework could not support the massive sell-off, and the Terra ecosystem suffered a devastating death spiral. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink, 2 seconds. When you've got a sip, right? Okay, so emergency measures during UST depeg. During the collapse of a stablecoin, Terraform Labs initiated 3 emergency actions. The first was to burn the UST in the community pool. The second was to burn the 371 million UST cross-chain on Ethereum. And the third was to stake 240 million Luna to defend from governance attacks. However, user dev at ValorDragon noted on Twitter that the Luna chain was in danger and could be taken over for 4 million at that moment. A patch was devised that disabled IBC channels delegation and creating new validators. The TFL developer who created the security patch, Alexander Bez, stated that once what is being termed as Terra Classics launches, this will be reverted, obviously. The swap connection between Luna and UST was also disabled. One of the primarily reasons for this was due to the numeric precision, i.e. the market module was running out of decimal places for the supply. See our post-mortem of the depeg on our GIT hub. And you can see this here, folks. I think it is in the description for the live stream we did last night, so do feel free to go and check that. If not, wait till the end. I will post the links up in the chat. So moving forward to governance and representation. While the TFL security patch halted the hyperinflation of Luna and protected the chain from attack, the patch was a change to protocol, which according to Terra Classic documentation and governance procedures requires a proposal and community vote. But no proposal was published and a vote did not happen, so the patch was installed in contravention to these accepted governance procedures. That being said, we have no reason to doubt that the developers and the validators acted in good faith and made an executed decision in times of an emergency. And they really did, and we know this because they shut off the mint in and depegged one coin from the other. So moving forward to stewardship by Terraform Labs. Since that moment 2 months ago, there's been no word from TFL on the support or continuation of support for the Luna Classic blockchain. Numerous attempts to contact Terraform Labs have resulted in frustrating silence. Attempts on the authors to communicate with TFL include initiating contact through GIT Hub pull requests, direct emails to the developers on Terra Money's repository, messages through Discord, messages through Telegram, scheduling requests to the calendars, connection requests through LinkedIn, application to job postings on Terra Money's website, and then invited a TFL member to Terra Rebels GIT Hub org and assigned co-ownership of the org for 3 weeks. Due to failure to communicate, we demoted the individual to a member role. There have been several TFL developers who have commented and contributed to the implementation and the solutions. However, they have acted in good faith independently from the organization. We will continue in our efforts to communicate with TFL. We believe this could be a symbiotic relationship. TFL would have a community of developers maintaining the code base, and TFL could provide insight into the 400,000 code commits made over 4 years, including the nuanced workings of the Terra blockchain. With TFL, improvements to the system would be orders of magnitude times faster. Unfortunately, with the absence of any official announcement, we are operating under the assumption that TFL has already abandoned the chain. Okay, so the community blockchain. A proof-of-stake POS blockchain can be thought of as a trinity between 3 entities: validator, community, and developers. When Luna collapsed, one of the founders of Luna blockchain, Do Kwon, asked that developers pledge their support to Luna 2.0 chain, stating, "Call to action. We encourage Terra developers to signal support, commit to build on the fork on public channels ASAP." Thus, the trinity was broken as the developers abandoned the classic chain and left the community and validators behind. The community, e.g., Luna Classic and UST holders, also drastically changed as the value of the tokens rapidly lost and new members of the community could obtain millions of Luna for only a few USD. With the absence of developers and overhaul of the community's demographic, the validators are the only members left of the original Trinity as we speak. Validators are slowly leaving the chain, with only 90 out of 130 still active set. Even after 2 months have passed since the depegging event, validation is broken. Delegation and staking on Luna Classic and POS blockchain, where staking is absolutely fundamental to the operation of the chain, are disabled. However, the Classic ecosystem is not broken. A new community has rallied behind the Luna Classic. The authors of this technical specification are community members that self-organized under a Discord group known as Terra Rebels. We have no affiliation with Terraform Labs, TFL, nor work under any central organization or established entity at this time. We, the community, are filling the developer void impartially and in accordance with community proposals that passed the voting process. In the next sections, we describe the proposals passed by Terra Decentralized Autonomous Organization, a DAO, the associated implementations. When adopted, a new wave of delegators and validators from the community will stake on Luna Classic. Built by community developers, this will be the true community-owned and operated blockchain. So this whole section there about DAOs, a lot of people were saying to me yesterday when I retweeted Binance's tweet where they're explaining what DAOs actually are to the broader community. And people are saying, I'm looking into it too much. But what people are forgetting is what is actually happening in the background outside of Binance. It seems so relevant, especially with the whole DAO situation going on. So anyway, moving forward to Proposition 4095, re-enable staking delegations to existing active validator set only. This was the text proposal that passed June 21st with a yes vote of 90.67%, with a total vote of 165 million. The proposal states, this proposal aims to make the following changes. 1. Re-enable staking delegations on Terra Classic exclusively to the current active validator set for a period of 60 days. The ability to create new validators will remain disabled until block height 8905758, approximately 22nd of August. 2. New validators can be created only after block height 8905758, approximately 22nd of August. So, moving forward, proposed solution and implementation. Status, implemented. Pull request is there if you need to go and take a look at that. I will post all these links at the end, folks, if you're not able to just quickly type them out. So as you can see there, you've got the staking power height upgrade in the code and everything like that. The 2 blocks are defined: staking power revert height and delegate power revert height. These are placeholder values and will be adjusted in consultation with validators. Once the delegate power revert height is determined, we will compute the staking power revert height to be 60 days after. And as you can see here, continuing on with the code, the highlighted change shows that upon reaching the specified revert height, create validator would become functional again. Similarly, we perform the same revert for delegation, just at an earlier block. And you can see this here and once again here. So concerns and potential pitfalls. Concerns. The upgrade would cause the chain to halt. We have heard the concern that the chain might need to be halted for new code to be adopted. This should not be the case. The revert heights protect against consensus failure before the revert height goes into effect. Thus, validators should be able to upgrade to the code at their leisure. As long as 2/3 of the validators by staking power adopt the code before the revert height, the chain should not halt. So concerns. Re-enabling staking could result in a BFT attack. This attack, where 2/3 of the validator by staking power are malicious actors, is a potential attack for all blockchains. However, given the imbalance of community-owned Luna and staked Luna, the attack becomes more plausible. When the delegation and staking are re-enabled, we mitigate this attack in the first 2 days. First, we only open delegation to existing validators in the first 60 days. An attack in this time could only come from the existing validators who have already demonstrated their commitment to faithfully running the chain. While we acknowledge a non-zero chance of such an attack, we believe it is highly unlikely. 3. Further in-game theoretic perspective, staking would bond the user's coins for a period of 21 days, during which time the attack would negatively impact the market price. Attacking the chain would result in financial loss to the malicious actor, which further strengthens the argument that the attack would be unlikely if a wealthy individual or group were to purchase hundreds of millions of dollars to attack the chain. Given the market cap of Luna Classic and UST, they would be entitled to, as they have paid for it. But in this situation, we would roll back to the snapshot before delegation and fork the chain and abandon that version of the chain, and the attacker would suffer a catastrophic financial loss. That does not mean we should not proceed cautiously and take security seriously. 4. As a precaution, we will decentivize such an attack by making the cost to achieve a supermajority stake significantly cost prohibitive. We are providing a script to validators that allow them to delegate their validators on the very first block that the delegation becomes active. Not only will validators be staking on the first block, we, the community, will also be delegating our coins equally across a set of trusted validators. For the validators, we suggest increasing the size of the mempool on the validator nodes and increasing the minimum gas. We further welcome any additional suggestions to assist with this transition. The prototype script is as follows, and you can see that there. So I'll just leave that there a sec if you want to pause it. Moving forward, the script checks the block height every 3 seconds. When the targeted block height has been reached, it will delegate a specified amount to a validator's account. So now moving forward on to proposition 3568, tax/burn 1.2% of all transactions. Just going to take a sip, folks. So a lot of people keep asking me why I've got stitches in my throat, and I was in an accident and something happened to my neck and pretty much it all got messed up, so I had to have an operation, but it's all tipped up now. It was just literally some stitches. So anyway, moving forward. This was the text proposal that was passed June 9th with a yes vote of 83.32%. With a total vote of 168.13 million, the proposal states a tax burn mechanism is to be implemented on LUNC to reduce the total supply, implement a tax burn mechanism on each buy-sell transaction. The 1.2% burn tax mechanism should be true until the total supply equals 10 billion LUNC. After that, this mechanism is disabled and the total supply can never be changed. So moving forward, proposed solutions and implementation status implemented. The code is here. If you want to go and check that, do feel free to do that. There is a cool tool, if you folks don't know about this, it's called Screen Select, and you can actually just highlight sections of text on anything and it will grab the information out of it. I use it all the time when obviously there's links inside videos I want to look at. So here we adopt and define a new decorator called New Burn Tax Fee Decorator. This is nearly identical to the new tax fee decorator introduced by TFL for implementing the stability tax on UST. What is different is that we pass in the BankKeeper module to burn the tax immediately after subtracting the tax from the sender. For example, immediately after the cosmonauty.new deduct fee decorator, here we show the burntax.go file, which is the implementation of the new decorator. Again, one can easily verify the identical nature of this file with the tax.go, which is the TFL stability tax decorator. And you can see this all here. I'll just leave that there so you can take a look. So moving forward, as described before, the only difference is that we bring back in the bank module to handle the burning tax on every eligible transaction. The anti-handler then computes the taxes in the exact same way as the stability tax. However, here instead of just recording the tax proceeds as the stability tax is used to, we instead send the coins from the fee collector module that collected the gas plus tax to the burn module that handles reducing the total supply. And as you can see here, here's the line of code. There's the highlighted section that you're pretty much interested in. I'll just leave it there a sec and then moving forward. Okay, So in order for us to actually send tokens from the fee collector to the burn module, we do need to expose the send coins from module to module endpoint to the anti-handler. So we tell the handler that we can expect to access this function via the expected_keeper.go file. This code gives the anti-handler access so that it can burn the coins directly. Now that the actual tax percentage amount is obtained via the existing treasury parameter tax rate, this tax rate is modulated by the tax policy and treasury module as defined here. The tk.getTaxRate method queries this parameter, and then it computes the stability tax according to tax rate and tax gap. Finally, there was a logic in both the existing tax anti-handler and in the treasury model not to tax Luna. We removed the limitation of taxing Luna so that the burn would apply. You can see that there. So the following delineates the exact parameter changes that need to be passed by governance in order to activate and properly burn the tokens with a 1.2% burn tax. And as you can see that there with the micro Luna denomination, the rate underscore minimum and the rate underscore max parameters should be set to 0.012 to achieve the 1.2%. The tax will be clamped to exactly this number. There is a cap on the total tax allowed in USDR units. This can be set arbitrarily high. Setting the change underscore rate underscore max to 0.0 prevents the tax rate from changing over epochs, approximately a week or 7.7 days of the blockchain. An epoch must pass for the tax rate to be enacted. Okay. So the reward policy rate underscore minimum and rate underscore max should be set to 1.0 with a change underscore rate underscore max set to 0.0. This requires some explanation. At the end of an epoch, the treasury calculates all the total number of tokens that have been burned in the epoch. It then immediately mints the exact amount and distributes these as a reward to validators and community pool as part of the old seigniorage model. I've probably said that wrong. I'm so sorry, folks. Welcome to the life of being a dyslexic. The reward policy specifies how much of this should be burned and how much should be distributed. 1.0 or 100% indicates that all of the new minted Luna should immediately be burned and not distributed. It is imperative that these parameter changes be made simultaneously in the same proposal. Otherwise, the tax could be exploited for rewards and not burned. So concerns and potential pitfalls. The tax is bad for long-term growth. Whether or not this tax is a positive or negative catalyst on the LUNC ecosystem remains to be seen. We remain impartial and develop in accordance with community proposals that pass the voting process. While we acknowledge that taxing transactions will likely reduce the activity on-chain, we have structured the implementation to be flexible as the Luna landscape evolves. The tax can be changed via parameter proposal at any time, and we could even take advantage of a variable tax rate to adjust after every epoch. Through democratic process, the Luna community can adapt to maintain healthy long-term growth. So the concern. The tax will break connections to certain dApps and exchanges. This is likely true. We have already seen issues arise internally with tools like TerraStation, TerraFaucet, and Terra's Chrome extension, where they are designed to probe the blockchain using a dummy transaction of one LUNC to compute the gas fees. When increasing the amount being transacted, the gas fees are not recomputed and the transaction will fail. A large coordinated marketing and publicity campaign will need to occur when the governance of the parameter proposals indicates that this will pass. Developers and third parties will need to be contacted to upgrade their logic for interacting with the classic blockchain. However, we see a silver lining. Our code change is based upon the UST stability tax that was already in place and active up until February 2022. The governance proposal 172 reduced this tax rate to 0. This means the developers and exchanges that were utilizing UST stablecoin already have this logic, and it would be a matter of re-enabling the same logic for Luna Classic. So now moving on to Proposition 4080 I'm just going to take a sip. Smash those penguins, folks. I don't care about likes. I just care about penguin emojis in the comment section, to be fair. Okay, so moving forward. Proposition 4080, distribution 50% transaction fees to the community pool. This was a parameter change proposed on the 15th of June with a yes vote of 94.79% with a total vote of 191.23 million. The proposal states distribute 50% transaction fees to the community pool. 35% to be burned via a monthly community pool proposals. 10% airdrop to ecosystem devs, 5% retained for core Terra Classic development, and increase the base proposer and bonus proposer reward from 0.01 and 0.04 to 0.03 and 0.12 respectively. And you can see the code changes here for the code base. Okay, so 4.1, implemented solution. Status, active. This was a parameter change proposal, and so the parameters were automatically implemented by the governance module. Okay, 4.2, concerns and pitfalls. Concern, who will initiate the burn proposal every month? At this time, it is unclear who will actually initiate the burn proposal every month. While the authors are in communication with the creator of this proposal, we are aware of any formal schedule or responsibilities put in place for the community burn. Concerns, what prevents the abuse of the community funds? The distribution of the community pool is defined by a distribution governance proposal. The community and validators will have to vote for the distribution of these funds. So that's very important, folks. And like I said, you're always going to need to vote on stuff, even if it's the distribution of the community pool. You're still going to need to confirm it and vote on it. So, excuse me. Okay, moving forward, Proposition 1299, re-enable IBC. So this was a parameter proposal that passed with a yes vote of 95.14% with a total vote of 158.15 million. The proposal states Terra validators disabled IBC as a stop-gain solution to preventing impermanent loss on UST and Luna pools on Osmosis and other IBC DEXs. Unfortunately, this also prevents UST and Luna from transferring between chains. Currently, about 154.7 UST is stuck. 154 million UST is stuck in Osmosis alone. This proposal re-enables and unlocks the transfers of UST between chains. So, 5.1, proposed solution and implementation. Status, not implemented. While this parameter proposal passed, IBC was disabled in the code, not in the parameter space. The technical code for re-enabling IBC is trivial, but is not implemented at this time. See the concerns and potential pitfalls. Concerns and potential pitfalls. So during the UST depeg, there was a significant concern regarding IBC vulnerabilities. We have reached out to 2 Cosmos developers, one that closed the channel in the first place and one that warned against reopening early when UST was depegging. We plan to talk to interchain teams like Osmosis and Juno and consult the Cosmos developers who were involved in the first place. Further research is warranted to ensure the reopening of IBCs is secure. 6. Rebel 1 testnet. On June 24th, 2022, Rebel 1 testnet went live with the proposed code changes. With the proposed code changes for Proposition 3568 and 4095. In the span of 48 hours, the testnet was supported by 7 community validators donating their time and hardware. Now, after a week, the testnet has 11 validators and new members are being onboarded daily. The testnet is able to be accessed through the existing Terra Station desktop app and Chrome extension. The distribution of funds is automatic through a Faucet Node.js application. For our code changes, the 4095 code was tested to see if our logic would disable delegation, then enable delegation after a specified block. This was successful. Our 3568 test included whether the correct tax was being computed with on-chain transactions. We also tested the governance parameter proposals that would need to be set in order for the burn tax to be executed as designed. Our tests have concluded that the code is working as expected. Integration tests on Columbus 5 are ongoing. Okay, so conclusions and future directions. In future directions, we believe the algorithmic stablecoin connection between Luna and UST is an important, useful, and differentiating factor of the Terra ecosystem. This topic is beyond the scope of emergency measures that need to be taken immediately and will be addressed more thoroughly in a different document. In conclusion, we have presented our technical specifications on how the past governance proposals can be implemented. We publicly audit our code in order to build trust from the community and validators. We also outline our concerns for the various proposals for full transparency. Finally, we asked the larger community for assistance in vetting and implementing the code base. We are adopting a legacy code base that was not developed by us, nor are being given guidance by the creators. We ask that those who have the knowledge or resources to contact us to help rebuild the Terra ecosystem. Final disclaimer. No author is being financially compensated for their assistance in emergency management of Luna Classic blockchain. Several authors have disclosed personal financial interest in the form of LUNC and UST holdings, and we've got these links below, and excuse me, and it pretty much ends there. So as to this emergency management and recovery of Luna, it really does break it all down for you folks and really just lets you know what's going on, what's implemented, what's not implemented, what pretty much Terra Rebel's role is on all of this, and everything in and out between it. Now, a lot of people are saying, JJJ, when can we have a copy of this? And the team are working on putting it up publicly. There's all procedures that have to be followed, and they're in the process of pretty much getting their social media platforms set up so they can link and everything like that in between. So yeah, do keep an eye out for that. I will update you the second they update me with the links for you folks to go on and publicly get a copy of this white paper, so to speak. So interesting development, probably around, I think, an hour before I started this stream, maybe. Possibly in a tweet. He has retweeted somebody, which is rather interesting. And he is asking about the burn implementation. Can't even find it myself now. Is he deleted the tweet? What's going on? Oh, here we go. So they don't even burn for on-chain transactions, right? Question mark. And he's responding to someone who has said to him, what about when LUNC 1.2% burn plan? So in my opinion, he's just acting coy. If you don't know what acting coy is, Google it. We're talking about CZ Binance here, folks. The guy who owns Binance, who brought Binance from the ashes or whatever it was prior to nearly one of the biggest CEXs in the world. And the way he's acting dumb is pretty... It's really funny to actually see it from my side of the playing fields, because I'm just like you folks. I'm an average Joe. If an average Joe like myself is able to understand this 1.2% burn tax, then I don't understand what he's struggling to understand about it. It's pretty obvious that it's happening on-chain and off-chain, and the off-chain implementation needs to be done by the CEXs themselves. So it's really interesting to see him acting coy, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you're fixating on it too much, Jay. You're going down the rabbit hole too much." And at the end of the day, it's not really a rabbit hole, because a rabbit hole would consist that we actually don't have proof of their accumulation and things like that, but we do. So yeah, I'll chase it as far as it needs to go. But as to Binance saying about this whole implementation thing again, and does it even happen on chain, is, like I said, he's acting coy. It's really weird, it's really strange, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. Is there anything else I can cover for you folks before I end this live stream? Just while I wait for the replies, I'm going to go through and thank people, because I mean, you folks are cool, right? So here we go. Christopher, Herbert, Holly, Christopher, Joe, Ferry, James Cameron, Yana, hi Yana, Shulkada, so many people in here. Kyle Schlott, Travis, LL J, nice to see you here, brother. James Cameron, Texas Crypto, so many people that have come and joined this stream. Hoplite, nice to see you here. So yeah, don't worry about my voice box, folks. Honestly, it's something I've been dealing with for a very long time now. It's totally normal. I really appreciate all the nice comments about my throat and the stitches. Jay, scroll down from CZ's response. He replies again. Okay, no problems. Let's do this. Okay. Good to hear. Yeah. And all the traders moving to other less secure platforms, it doesn't work. They need to implement on-chain first. It will kill the on-chain activity too. Yes, and we've just stated this in the breakdown of the white paper. The issue is we always knew that this would happen, because what the issue is, and a lot of people overlook this, is once we activate it on chain, yes, people are going to sit there and go, well, why am I going to do my transactions on chain when I can take them off chain and not get taxed? And that's totally understandable. But at the same time, these folks do need to, it's really a lot down to them. He's pretty much saying, oh, we need to implement it on chain first. And yes, we do. And yes, we have. It's been implemented in a test net and it's currently being tested on Columbus 5. So as to what, let's see, look, the viewers have gone up because we're talking about Binance. Yay, Binance! So all of the traders moving to other less secure platforms, it doesn't work. They need to implement on-chain first, and it will kill the on-chain activity. And I mean, the on-chain activity's already been killed, in my opinion, folks. And that's just my opinion. But like I said, we don't even have a correct chart right now for the transaction volume and things like that. So we're already in a pickle, so to speak. So yeah, it's really interesting to see that he has replied to this. So Coinin have actually posted back to him saying, yes, as the community proposed, seems like you have to double check the prop 3568. We believe the community will keep optimizing. All we have to do is support them and being as transparent as possible. Thank you for your doubts. So in my opinion, and I mean, I've been a lot of places in my life, like most people. I've met a lot of people and I've seen the ins and outs of the human nature. And he's acting really like, is it like, what? Burn tax? Don't know what, is it on chain? Is it what? Is it off chain? It's really, really strange. I used to work in a job when someone used to walk up to me, I would act as if I didn't know anything so people wouldn't ask me more questions. And yeah, yes, LL Joy, Ghoul J, they are doing very well, Coinin. We're going to be doing a video covering them very, very soon. Skitsy, I'm staked to LunkDAO. Honestly, folks, LunkDAO are such an awesome collective of people. I've always said this from the get-go, and I'll always say this to now. They're totally transparent. They're totally open. They're totally honest. And guess what? Every time you see them burn coins, they've taken like equity and money from the main net and then brought it to the classic net and then gone, yeah, right, now we're going to burn it. So it's win-win-win. And then at the same time, it's us putting the fingers up to Luna 2, so to speak. So I really do love LunkDAO. Might just be me, but personally, from what I've seen, from what they do, looking at their wallets and stuff like that, totally clean set of people. If you know how to trade MEXC platform, you can earn a lot. Is the coin in bonus genuine? So the issue with the coin in bonus, and I've said this to them, basically it's not worded very well. I'm going to do a video breaking it down, but it's not, you don't get to keep that 600, I think it's $600. You don't get to keep that $600. You only get it for a certain amount of time. And if you lose it, or I'm sure you then become responsible for paying it back. So do need to have a look at that. And yeah, coin is a near sham avoid. I tried it myself. Yeah, like I said, I haven't tried it myself, but what I was showing people and everything I did show people was the fact that they are implementing this burn tax, and whether they pass or fail or succeed or fall, we're no better off or no worse off as to where we was to start with, right, folks? So therefore, it doesn't really ultimately, it doesn't hurt the brand, doesn't hurt the coin, and it doesn't hurt the community. It's only them who are going to fall. So the Coinbase, the coin in bonus is a sham too. It's only 10%. You can withdraw after 7 days. Yes, and you do need to read the fine lining on anything with a sign-up bonus. Because... Sorry, I pressed the microphone button then. So Hoplite, let's put coin into a side for a second, and now let's look at crypto.com. If you want your sign up bonus on crypto.com, what do you need to do? You need to stake £300 worth of Crow, okay? £300 worth of Crow just to get a $25 sign up bonus. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that you should have to pay that much. Like, I have a friend who recently, he was like, oh, you know, I'm going to get the sign up bonus, going to do all this stuff. It looks really good with the card. And I said to him, I said, man, look, I said, Crow's not a good coin in my opinion. It's going downhill. A few bits not looking so great for it. And he didn't listen. He bought in. He's pretty much now, I think he's around 75% down on his initial 300 pounds worth of Crow. And that $25 reward he got is absolutely nearly worthless now. And it's just like, at what point is that okay for a CEX to do that? It's not. It's really not. They pretty much force you into buying their coin, then staking their coin, so you can't do nothing with it for a set amount of time, just so you can get a little blue card or the little red card, or so to speak, and some measly staking rewards. So it's not just coining that act like this. It's a lot of different places that actually act like this. I know KuCoin are pretty bad for playing up on that level and things like that. But yeah, it's across the board. You can never have everything in one place. There's always going to be negatives somewhere that you don't get elsewhere. And so to speak, things like that. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, and sometimes it looks greener, but when you weigh it all out, it's not quite where you need it to be and things like that. So so you can use your Crow though eventually, and it goes up through their card program, but I don't do sign up bonuses. Yeah, neither do I, Hoplite. I don't. Sign up bonuses doesn't bother me. I'm not chasing money. I just playing it for the long run. £20 here and there on the odd crypto, and then just hoping for the best, I guess. LL Cool J, I think if CZ didn't get cornered in that interview, he would still be ignoring Lunk. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised Bankless, because loads of people were saying, oh, you know, it's not live and it's recorded. And I knew it was live because you could see the guy in the top right hand corner was looking to his secondary screen and reading the comments, and then you could see he was just laughing, and then all of a sudden we saw them muting people in the chat itself. So yeah, just adds to this whole situation with Binance at the moment, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, he's acting coy. He's acting as if he doesn't know anything. Hi, Gabriel. We just done a cover of the emergency management and recovery of Lunar Classic. So yeah, feel free to go back. It's the second time I've covered it, but as I promised the community, and when the community asks me for things, I always make sure that I do what is asked of me, because it's very important that you folks get what you want when you need it, as fast as you need it. And even if that means me staying up till like, I think I went to bed at like 2 a.m. last night. Yeah, I know. I was watching The Boys, actually, if anybody else has actually been watching that. Absolutely amazing program, just saying. Jay, what do you think CZ is up to? Or I'm going to do a proper video breakdown, speculation of it from top to bottom. Honestly, what I believe the plan is, where this is heading, and how it's going for them so far. I'm not going to get into it in this video, in this live stream, just because it's not that it's a deep rabbit hole or a rabbit hole whatsoever. There's a lot for me to explain. So Tristan Nelson, has anyone thought that withdrawal of Luna that Binance did to other wallets are still owned, and the 2.6 trillion could very well be over 3.5 trillion? So Tristan, I don't know if you I don't know if you know So pretty much, let me grab it up for you folks. This, my friend, is where the missing 1 trillion coins are. And we have confirmed this many times on the channel. And if you've been with us from the start, you'll know that they do hold around 3.6 trillion coins, not 2.6 trillion coins. So yeah, you are very right there, my friend. And yeah, we do need them to come out and address it. It's so easy for them to just come out and go, do you know what? They're not our coins, just like they've addressed with the Bitcoin and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just all just uber interesting at the moment. So yeah, right, folks. So I'm not going to drag it on much longer because, like I said, this was just a live stream to get the emergency management and recovery of Luna Classic read out to you folks and bring you all up to scratch. I really hope you have a really nice day. I hope the sun's shining for you, and I hope you are just okay. Everything's okay. Beware of scammers, folks. Beware of doppelgangers. Anybody pretending to be me or the Luna Classic Let It Burn channel, or just being generally mischievous. Do make sure you've got the correct person you are speaking to.